Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitana. Srila Jiva Goswami Pad, while writing a very wonderful book called Sri Harinamamrita Vyakaranam, which is a grammatical text with the names of Sri Krishna in it, he explains that Sanskrit grammar is like walking through a desert. Pade pade cha skhalanam, where there is crawling and falling and slipping at every step, just for the sake of one drop of water. Srila Jiva Goswami explains, someone who doesn't know to walk, someone who doesn't know to crawl is expected to run in the desert to get one drop of water in the Marubhumi. That is how difficult it is to study Sanskrit grammar. But when he presents the Krishna conscious version of Sri Harinamamrita Vyakaranam, he says, in the desert of Sanskrit grammar where even water is not found, I am presenting an ocean of nectar in the form of the names of Krishna. Like, for example, in Sanskrit grammar, the vowels and consonants are called as swaras and vyanjanas. This is very famous. Everybody knows. The vowels are called swaras and the consonants are called vyanjanas. Now Srila Jiva Goswami gives a Krishna conscious version to it. And he says, what is this swara? Instead of swara, we will call it Sarveshwara. We will call these vowels as the eternal sound originating from the throat of God. Therefore, they are called Sarveshwaras. And what is this Vyanjana? It has no meaning. Instead of Vyanjana, we will call them Vishnujana. So what are the vowels called? What are the consonants called? Srila Jiva Goswami, after giving this, and this is quite astonishing because swara starts with a sa, and he says Sarveshwara, that's a name again starting with a sa. And Vyanjana means consonants, but he uses the word Vishnujana also with a va. That's astonishing. But he also says something fabulous. He says the vowels can exist by themselves. Like you can say ee, and it still makes some sense. Or you can say ah, it still makes some sense. Or you can say ooh, and it still makes sense. So these sounds by themselves, they can indicate and signify different feelings and emotions. But the consonants, on the other hand, they're always incomplete. And they need the vowels for their completion. So Srila Jiva Goswami says, accordingly, the Sarveshwaras, the Supreme Lord, are always independent. But we, the Vishnu Janas, we are incomplete in this world, and we need the help of Sarveshwara. Just like the consonants need the help of the vowels for their completion, we living beings need the fulfillment of the love for the Supreme Lord for our fulfillment, for our completion. So he teaches Sanskrit grammar through the names of Krishna. So why am I saying this in a Bhagavat Saptah? This is called Chandra Shakha Nyaya. Chandra Shakha Nyaya means when we want to say something, you try to say something else and then correlate to the point that you want to say. Like for example, if somebody is not able to see the moon, you show them the Shakha, which means the branches on the tree. And you say, do you see this branch of the tree? Oh, yes, I do. Do you see this branch? Oh, yes, I do. Now, between the two branches, do you see that ball of butter? That is called the moon. This is called Chandra Shakha Nyaya, where the Chandra or the moon is understood through the example of the branch. So in this case, dear devotees, why am I speaking of the desert and the nectar in the desert? Through the language of Sanskrit grammar, I am saying this whole land is a marubhumi. It's actually a desert, where even literally, not symbolically, literally, finding water is so difficult. All glories, all glories, all glories to the preachers, headed by His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj in this area, who haven't given water. They, just like Jiva Goswami gave nectar through Sanskrit grammar, which is actually a desert. Srila Jayapataka Maharaj, and by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, so many disciples of Srila Prabhupada, and so many great senior preachers of this community have flooded the Vaishnava community, not just with water, but with waves and rivers and oceans of nectar. Krishna Bhakti. Sitting in America and going out for Harinam Sankirtan is very easy, because there is no opposition. There is no opposition. And therefore you will see, because it's so easy, nobody goes out. Going out and speaking about Krishna to others, well, anybody can do it. Then why me? But in this country, where it is so difficult, nobody can do it. Then why not us? This is the spirit. Like for example, if you want to cook rice in an open pot, you can, but it takes a little longer time. But if you cook the same rice in a pressure cooker, you see the whistle, the CT as they call in Hindi. So preaching in America and preaching in countries where it's allowed to preach, it's like cooking rice in an open pot. It's nice, but everyone can do it. But preaching here in Damodardesh and places around is like cooking in a pressure cooker, where it gets hotter, the whistles are sweeter, and most importantly, what happens in Damodardesh stays in Damodardesh. So, with flower gardens of gratitude, I offer my obeisances to each one of you for welcoming us. My wife and I, we are here as servants to all of you. So whatever I may try to say, please kindly forgive me. Even before I try to say something, I am giving this disclaimer. I am not a scholar. I am not a pandit. I am not what you think I am. Don't believe YouTube. You know, you can do all sorts of things on that. But I'm really tested here, because you think I am something, but I know I am nothing. So I start off by offering my obeisances. May the right words come at the right time in the right spirit of service to the lotus feet of Sri Hari. May it cleanse our heart. May it give pleasure to our ears and drag our consciousness 1 inch closer to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Would you all protect me with your blessings, just like these tents have beautifully protected us from the rain? This reminds me of the Govardhan leela. I know that's not part of the Bhagavat Saptah, but there's always enough room for spontaneity. And that's more sweeter, actually. Sometimes that's why when people ask me what is the topic for the class, I'll say, we'll see. Depends on what it is. So beautiful. Dhare dhara dhare dharam dhara dhare dhurarudhi dhira dhi ara radha dhi rodham radha dhurandharam. My Rupa Goswami Pad has written, all glories to Shyam Sundar Shri Krishna, who put his little finger where everyone can't even place their feet because of being drenched by the rain in Vrindavan. There, standing on two legs, baby Gopal. He put his little finger underground. Dhare dhara dhare dharam, and lifted the whole of Govardhan on the pinky finger of his left hand and stood with so much elegance and grace. I can't do it, but can imagine. With so much grace. Dhare dhara dhare dharam. And why did he do that? Dhara dhare dhurarudhi. To block. There was a water leak from the clouds of Samvartaka. It was raining. And dhira dhi ara radha dhi rodham radha dhurandharam. Rupa Goswami says, at that time, everyone came under that beautiful umbrella of Govardhan. Nijapati bhuja danda chhatra bhavam prapadya. Pratihata mada drishto danda devendra garva. Atula pritula shaila shreni bhupa priyam me nija nikata nivasam dehi govardhanatvam. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami Pad says, Oh Krishna, such beautiful teamwork. Such beautiful teamwork. Your hand became the stick and Govardhan became the umbrella. You see, for an umbrella, you need the shade on the top and you need the stick. So Krishna's arm became the stick and Govardhan floating in the sky became the upper part of the umbrella. So put together, it was Giridhari and Giriraj who became the umbrella. And all the Brajbasis came under this beautiful hill. Srila Kavi Karnapur and other acharyas describe, after some time, they even forgot they were under a big hill being balanced by Gopal. They started playing chess. The cowherd boys. Some started swinging. There were stairs and steps, and some started having vanabhojan. They started having their fruits and sweets with no concern, no scare whatsoever. What if this hill falls on us? Because they trust Krishna. Rakshishyata iti vishwaso gotritve varanam tatha atma nikshepa karpanya shadvida sharanagati. A devotee is characterized by his faith. Avashya rakshive Krishna vishwasa palon. Shadanga sharanagati hoive jahar tahara prarthana sune Shri Nanda Kumar. Devotee is characterized by his unflinching faith. Maro bhi rakho bhi jo ichha tuhar. Whether inside the house or outside the house, at life or at death, in happiness or distress, my Lord, you are always protecting me. Even when I was in my mother's womb, the devotee thinks, when I was upside down in my mother's womb, I had left my previous mother and I had not seen my new mother, but between two mothers, who was that mother who was protecting me with her or his love? That is Krishna. When that Krishna is holding the hill, why fear when he is here? In this way, dear devotees, Rupa Goswami says, when everyone was busy, they were busy playing. At that time, there was one gopi who was sincerely praying, may the hill not get so heavy. May Shyam Sundar's arm not start hurting and aching. Oh Vishnu, please protect my Shyam Sundar. Rupa Goswami says, Rodham Radha Dhurandharam. All glories to Srimati Radharani, who selflessly prayed, not for her protection, but for the protection of Krishna, who through Giriraj was protecting the whole world. So tonight, I am reminded how there's profuse rain for 24 hours. Indra was trying his best. And overnight, the Brajbasis here put a Giriraj Govardhan together. And all of us sitting under this Giriraj, we have even forgotten that we are actually sitting under Govardhan. We are busy laughing, singing, hopefully dancing, singing, hearing, speaking. And it is Śrīmad Bhāgavatam who as Giridhari is holding this tent together so that all of us can associate with each other. So dear devotees, pastimes like the Govardhan leela, Shakata Bhanjan leela, Putana Udhar leela, Trinavart Udhar leela, Kaliya Daman leela, Aghasur Vad leela, all these beautiful pastimes of Krishna are found in Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. And it is described. The way to approach the pastimes of Krishna in the 10th canto, Srila Prabhupada explains, is by studying the first 2 cantos. How much hard work Srila Prabhupada put in presenting the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. I am reminded how in 1976, there was a big festival on Ram Navami in Vrindavan. Can you imagine? Just a month ago, 2 months ago, the whole world was saying only one slogan. And what was that? Jai Shri Ram. So this was Ram Navami 1976 in Vrindavan. And Srila Prabhupada had such a busy schedule. He woke up for Mangal Arati. He had a morning walk, gave the Bhagavatam class. And after that, all day, up to evening, Srila Prabhupada was meeting so many guests. Politicians came in, big governors and dignitaries came in. So many esteemed politicians and leaders came in. And what was Srila Prabhupada speaking to them? He was preaching to them. He was speaking about Śrīmad Bhagavatam. He was telling them the glories of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. He was telling them how this is Vrindavan. This is the appearance place of Krishna. Śrīmad Bhagavatam is the appearance book of Krishna, Prabhupada said. This is the book where Krishna appears. And from sunrise to sunset, Srila Prabhupada was speaking the glories of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. After which, Prabhupada went to Mathura, the appearance place of Krishna. And there was a big program. 20,000 people attended. 20,000. And Prabhupada looked at all his American and European-bodied disciples. And Srila Prabhupada, with folded palms, he said, all of you, please forgive me. I may have to speak in Hindi. Now, Srila Prabhupada did not have to apologize for that, because he saw they were Brajbasis. Being mindful of etiquette, Srila Prabhupada said, well, okay, I'll speak in Hindi. But at the same time, here are people from Russia and Germany and Africa and America and Europe, and they can't understand Hindi. So Srila Prabhupada folds his palms and tells them, please forgive me, I may have to speak in Hindi. And a whole 1.5 hour class, Ram Navami, Srila Prabhupada speaks on Śrīmad Bhagavatam. And so many people start getting Śrīmad Bhagavatam home, sets after sets. Prabhupada's distributing through his preaching. And after all of this, when they return back to the Krishna Balaram Mandir, it's 11:45 at night. Devotees are fasting, they are tired, they are exhausted. They all come and crash. And one devotee, he's not able to sleep. Why? Because he had some jalebi from Loi Bazaar. How many of us have been to Vrindavan? So this devotee, American-bodied devotee, he went to Loi Bazaar and he started eating jalebis 50 years ago. And he couldn't sleep. Pet mein dard, something's happening. And he was not used to this. So he went to rest, and again there was nature whispering. Then he went and he came back, tried to rest. Then nature started calling. Then he came to rest. Nature started howling. Then he had to rush back and forth. And finally he said, I don't think I can sleep tonight. Let me just chant japa. He picked up his beads. It was 2 a.m. He had gone to sleep, tried to go to sleep at 12 o'clock. It was 2 a.m. He couldn't sleep. Took his beads, came down to chant. And when he came down to chant to Krishna Balaram Mandir, he crossed through Prabhupada's room and the light was on. Prabhupada was already up. Prabhupada slept after everyone, after being awake from 4 a.m. the previous day, preaching about Śrīmad Bhagavatam all day long, giving classes. And it was 2 a.m. the next morning, and Srila Prabhupada was up. This devotee wanted to know what is Srila Prabhupada doing. So, kind of stuck his ear close to the window, and he was chanting japa. And Srila Prabhupada was on his dictaphone, dictating the purports to Grantraj Śrīmad Bhagavatam. We may not find time to study Śrīmad Bhagavatam even during the day, but Srila Prabhupada took time even at night time to study Śrīmad Bhagavatam. To study, to read, to comment. And at some point Srila Prabhupada would leave the dictaphone aside and take his beads and start chanting for about 20-25 minutes. And the servant would come and ask Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, what happened? Srila Prabhupada said, nothing. I am chanting for inspiration. These Bhaktivedanta purports are going to be the torchlight for thousands of years. So I want to make sure every word in Śrīmad Bhagavatam is perfectly dictated. So Srila Prabhupada himself an eternal associate, would pray and sometimes chant, and what comes out of his heart is what we are blessed with, these pages of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. So this devotee, as he was hearing Srila Prabhupada dictate, he heard Srila Prabhupada on the dictaphone go, and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his commentary to Bhagavad Gita, he opines. And as Srila Prabhupada was saying this devotee was thinking, my God, Srila Prabhupada is an encyclopedia. He studied everything. And in ecstasy, the chanting, the volume of the chanting of this devotee increased. Imagine 2 a.m. You're chanting japa outside the window of your spiritual master, who wakes up in the middle of the night so that he can dictate in silence. And the Prabhupada is dictating and this devotee goes, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So imagine in ecstasy, this devotee is chanting loudly. And Prabhupada stops the dictation. And suddenly in no time the servant comes out and tells this devotee is closing his eyes, hearing Prabhupada's dictation. He goes, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. And the servant comes and says, there's a whole temple room for chanting. Doesn't have to be done outside Prabhupada's window like this. The devotee happily left, but he left with this message, which he gave in his offering to Srila Prabhupada, that he was so amazed to see his Guru Maharaj, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, prioritize Śrīmad Bhagavatam all day and all night and again all day and all night all his life. He had done everything. He could have just relaxed. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur had predicted that day will come when devotees from all parts of the world will come to Navadvip chanting Jai Shachinandana Gaura Hari. And when Srila Prabhupada was preaching to 20,000 people, this devotee was thinking, Prabhupada, you have done it. Why are you pushing so hard? You can relax. You are the chosen one who fulfilled the prediction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Now you can relax. But Prabhupada, even at the age of 75, was pushing it so hard so that we get it very easy. So we start our discussion. We have 7 days to discuss Śrīmad Bhagavatam. We start off by offering our obeisances of gratitude to Srila Prabhupada, who for so many years, sacrificing his night's sleep, gave us Śrīmad Bhagavatam so that we wake up from the sleep of the slumber of avidya or ignorance. Srila Prabhupada ki. This Grantraj Śrīmad Bhagavatam has been the main treasure coming down the Gaudiya Sampradaya. Aradhyo Bhagavan Brajesha Tanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kajidupasana Brajavadum Varghenaya Kalpita Śrīmad Bhagavatam Prema Pumartho Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhor Matamidam Tatradharana Para. In the Chaitanya Mata Manjusha commentary of Srinath Chakravarti, he writes, Mahaprabhu prioritized the study of Śrīmad Bhagavatam over all other study. If there is Ekam Shastram, just like Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya has said, Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Geetam. If you want to hold one Shastra, hold the Gita. Similarly, Bhagavatam says, Kimva Parairi Ishwaraha. Kimva Parairi Ishwaraha. If you have Śrīmad Bhagavatam, what is the need for any other Grantha? Is this a sectarian mindset? Absolutely no. If you have one car and it can take you to work, why do you need 5? So if Śrīmad Bhagavatam can take us to the destination of going to the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna, why do you need anything else? This Śrīmad Bhagavatam is our life. Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam. How do you identify a Vaishnav? Vaishnav is he who cannot live without Śrīmad Bhagavatam. If we are able to live without Śrīmad Bhagavatam, if in our home Śrīmad Bhagavatam cover has not been removed, then we shouldn't consider ourselves to be Vaishnavas. Sometimes we go to homes and we ask for a certain canto for the class. Typically we say 8th canto, let's say. And the Prabhu will say, 1 minute Prabhuji, upar se nikalna padega. I have to remove it from the shelf. And then there's a specific ladder he brings in, climbs up, opens the shelf. He has to keep away the dust that has accumulated, and then he will remove the 8th canto. Tear the cover. Fresh. This is not Vaishnavism. Dear devotees, Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam. Srila Prabhupada's disciple Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj used to say, each one of us should be married to Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Married to Śrīmad Bhagavatam. What does that mean? Just like you like to spend time with your wife, similarly we should make it a priority to spend time with Śrīmad Bhagavatam. We shouldn't be able to live without Śrīmad Bhagavatam. His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj used to tell his disciples, wherever you go, you should carry one small copy of Śrīmad Bhagavatam in your bag. You see the smaller edition, what is it called? You know what I'm talking about? The smaller edition of Śrīmad Bhagavatam, where you have the same canto split into multiple smaller parts. He would say, take one book, always in your bag. Even when you're on a traffic signal, you have about 2 minutes, read something. You have another 5 minutes before the curtains open for darshanarthi in the temple, read a verse. You have another 10 minutes before prasadam is ready. Instead of cribbing and nagging and shouting, why is the prasadam not ready on time? Take that time out to read Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Every 10 minutes we read Śrīmad Bhagavatam, we'll be amazed how many cantos we can read over a lifetime. Jive daya name ruchi Vaishnava sevan, iha chhadi dharma nahi suno sanatan. Mahaprabhu told Sanatan Goswami, chant the holy name, serve the Vaishnavas and distribute Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Not just physically distributing the copy, but distribute the essence. Study Śrīmad Bhagavatam, relish Śrīmad Bhagavatam and speak Śrīmad Bhagavatam to the whole world. This is why Saptahams like this, seminars on Śrīmad Bhagavatam, daily discussions on Śrīmad Bhagavatam is of utmost paramount significance in our life. Vaishnavanam Priyam. How busy we get in managing, how busy we get in organizing, how busy we get in just doing the things. Let's say, I will bring this, I will do this. We always, as project managers, have to-do lists to get accomplished. But when will that day be mine? Leaving all of these to-do lists aside, we sit in the association of Vaishnavas and hear about Krishna peacefully. This is the aim of our life. Yasyam vai shruyamanayam Krishne paramapurushe bhaktir utpadyate pumsam shoka moha bhayapaha. Anartha upashamam sakshat bhakti yoga madhokshaje. Bhagavatam describes that those who hear about Krishna through the pages of Śrīmad Bhagavatam, no more repeated birth and death for them, guaranteed. No more. Sada sevya Śrīmad Bhagavati katha yasya shravana matrena hari chittam samashrayet. Janmantare kritam punyam tada Bhagavatam labhet. Who gets Śrīmad Bhagavatam? When Narad Muni was asked this question, who gets Śrīmad Bhagavatam? For us in the present generation, who gets Śrīmad Bhagavatam? Well, just put your hand up and sponsor a box, or just with a loving heart raise your hand and say, I need a copy, and devotees are so kind to bring it to your home. But Narad Muni says, actually, who gets Śrīmad Bhagavatam? Janmantare kritam punyam tada Bhagavatam labhet. Somebody who has accumulated spiritual piety for so many lifetimes, only that person becomes eligible to receive Śrīmad Bhagavatam, the book and the katha in their life. We want to hear about Krishna, but what is the incentive? Yasya shravana matrena hari chittam samashrayet. It is described by hearing Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Krishna enters through the ear and sits in the heart. And then what happens? The door shuts behind him. Krishna tries to escape. Oh, too late. The devotee who has been hearing about you, O Krishna, he with the key or the lock of bhakti has bound you in the courtyard of his heart. Kara grahe vasasada hridaye madiye madbhakti pasha iha bandhana nishchalassan. Tom Krishna he pranaya koti shatantarepi sarvasva chaura hridayan nahi mochayami. Sripad Bilva Mangala Thakur has said, on the same lines, by chanting and hearing about Krishna, Krishna gets bound by the ropes of love, Damodar, in the courtyard of the heart of the listener. Hari chittam samashrayet. Hari gets stuck in the heart. Dear devotees, our Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, He prioritized the study of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. He would sit with Gadadhar Pandit, the incarnation of Srimati Radharani, and for 3 hours every day in the afternoon, not 30 minutes, not 3 minutes, but 3 long hours, it was Krishna as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Radharani as Gadadhar Pandit with Śrīmad Bhagavatam in the center. When Radha and Krishna themselves can read and chant the glories of Śrīmad Bhagavatam, what to speak of the servants of Radha and Krishna? Yadyad acharati sreshthas tattat eve tarojana mahajano yena gatasa pantha. What great people do, common men should follow. So daily, not one day should pass when Śrīmad Bhagavatam has not become priority in our life. Ayur harati vaipumsam udhyam astam chayan asau tasyarthe yat kshanonita uttama shloka vartaya. The sun is rising and setting and sipping into the glass, the cup of our life. Just like children, you give them a straw and they will sip happily. Surya Dev does that. He puts the straw into the cup of our lives and one life gone. From Janma to Mrityu, gone. But it doesn't seem like that because he goes, what we call as happy birthday is Surya Dev sipping. That sipping sound is the happy birthday. One more day gone. But it is described, those who hear Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Surya Dev cannot sip into their life. Why? He doesn't take them close to death. He takes them close to the kingdom of Krishna. You travel in the flight, different directions, different speeds. You will see, you take off at 6 a.m., for example, local time. You land somewhere and it's 11 p.m. Or you take a flight from somewhere, it's 11 a.m. and you reach somewhere, it's 2 p.m., for example, right? Different time zones. If you take a certain speed and you go in a certain direction, whichever city you reach, it will be the same time. Because you're calculating properly. The flight is taking the right direction with the right speed in such a way that the time can be calculated. So you leave at 11, and of course with the time difference and all that. So you leave at 11 and you reach somewhere, it's still 11. And you go somewhere, it's still 11. So time is passing, but it seems that time is not passing. That's what happens to the life of a devotee. If you go with a certain speed of bhakti, with a certain direction towards Krishna's lotus feet by studying Śrīmad Bhagavatam, time is passing. But time has no influence on such a reader of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Because that person is not going to death. He is going towards the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. Every year that he celebrates his birthday, it's auspicious. Why? Because he is closer and closer to seeing with his eyes the beautiful forms of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Sri Radha Shyam Sundar. Maybe not in that life, but another year closer in some life, back home, back to Radha Shyam Sundar. Grantraj Śrīmad Bhagavatam has this power to snatch our sins away instead of our life and drag our consciousness close to the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Gadadhar Pandit, they would hold hands and cry while reading Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Gadadhar Pandit would read the 7th canto, the pastimes of Prahlad Maharaj, sometimes the 4th canto, the pastimes of Dhruva Maharaj. And here are we who say, well, I know it. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Gadadhar Pandit, they studied Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Dear devotees, a dear associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by the name Srinivas Acharya. How many of us have heard of Srinivas Acharya? Srinivas Acharya was a very great Vaishnava. And his father told him, the aim of your life is to go to Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, walk to Jagannath Puri and hear Śrīmad Bhagavatam from him. Srinivas Acharya walked all the way from his hometown to Jagannath Puri, and as he entered Jagannath Puri with the desire that I will see Gauranga Mahaprabhu and hear Śrīmad Bhagavatam from him, as he entered Jagannath Puri, devotees are falling left, right, center, crying, weeping, rolling in grief. When Srinivas Acharya asked them, why are you crying? The devotees said, Prema Purushottam, Shachinandan, the son of Shachi Mata, the Lord of Vishnu Priya Devi, the incarnation of love of Godhead, the great dancer Nataraj Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disappeared from this world. And never again will anyone be able to see him again. He's gone. He left this world. Srinivas Acharya started to cry. My father gave me this instruction that I go and study Śrīmad Bhāgavatam from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has departed. Hi, what will I do now? With so much anxiety, spiritual, transcendental separation, he was calling out to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared to him in a dream and said, I have departed, but my Śrīmad Bhāgavatam study partner, who is that? Gadadhar Pandit is still on the planet. Please go to Tot Gopinath, the place where Gadadhar Pandit worships Gopinath. Please go and study Śrīmad Bhāgavatam from Gadadhar Pandit. He is the greatest scholar. Mahaprabhu said, even I would hear from him. You please go and study from him. Srinivas Acharya went to Gadadhar Pandit. And when he went to Gadadhar Pandit was weeping. So much so that the palm leaves on which Śrīmad Bhāgavatam was written were all drenched with his tears. Srinivas Acharya fell at the feet of Gadadhar Pandit and said, my only desire is, can you speak Śrīmad Bhāgavatam? I just want to hear Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Gadadhar Pandit said, I wish I could speak to you. Unfortunately, the palm leaves on which Śrīmad Bhāgavatam are written, they're all drenched by my tears. I can't see what verse comes after this. How do I speak? Srinivas Acharya said, what can I do to give you Śrīmad Bhāgavatam? Gadadhar Pandit said, well, it's not easy to find another Śrīmad Bhāgavatam copy. You have to go to your hometown, walk all the way back, find a qualified scholarly devotee who has the original manuscript. Take that original manuscript to another Brahmana who can write these syllable after syllable, verse after verse, chapter after chapter, canto after canto, legibly, 18,000 verses on palm leaves, and bring them to me. And it's not easy, because you have to find palm leaves, you have to find a devotee who has Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the original manuscript, you have to find a Brahmana who can actually rewrite syllable after syllable. In Sanskrit, if you make one syllable, if instead of rasva you make it dirgha, the meaning changes. Like for example, the word nivritti means nivritta tarshaihi, which means renunciation. So if you say nivritti, that means renunciation. But if you say nirvritti, that means joy. So just adding the r in the middle, you have to have an original manuscript, a person who understands it and can write it with legible Sanskrit handwriting, syllable after syllable, and you need a perfect organic pen to do it. The ink has to be right, the pen has to be right, otherwise the ink will get smudged or the palm leaves can be eaten up by ants. So you have to find everything first class. Gadadhar Pandit told Srinivas Acharya, if you want to hear Śrīmad Bhāgavatam from me, I am happy to serve you, but I just need another copy of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Go to your hometown, get another manuscript, find another Brahmana who can write it syllable after syllable, bring that copy to me. I will be very happy to speak Śrīmad Bhāgavatam to you. Srinivas Acharya happily rushed to his hometown to do the needful. He found the original manuscript, found a Brahmana who quickly wrote 18,000 verses of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam spanning over 335 chapters in 12 cantos. Got the copy to Jagannath Puri with an attempt to bring it to Tota Gopinath. Devotees are crying and weeping, rolling on the floor, and when Srinivas Acharya asked them the reason for their grief, they mentioned the dearmost associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the worshipper of Gopinath, Gadadhar Pandit, has left this world. He has left this world. Now Srinivas Acharya is again an orphan. My father told me to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he left this world. I went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he left this world. He instructed me to go to Gadadhar Pandit. Gadadhar Pandit said, yes, I will teach you Śrīmad Bhagavatam. But then you have to get this manuscript. By the time I got the manuscript, Gadadhar Pandit has left this world. What do I do now? Srinivasa Acharya started crying loudly. Gadadhar Pandit came in the dream and said, don't worry. Sadhus are always on the planet. Janasya Krishnat vimukhasya daivat adharma shila sudukhitasya anugrahayeha charanti nunam bhutani bhavyani janardhanasya mahat vichalanam nrinam grihinam dina chetasam bhavat vida bhagavata tirtha bhuta swayam vibho tirthi kurvanti tirthani swantastena gadabrata. Sadhu sanga sarva shastra koy lavamatra sadhu sange sarva siddhi hoy. Krishna bhakti janma moola hoye sadhu sanga Krishna prema janmete ho punar mukhya anga. The conclusion of all these verses is bhakti rises in the association of those who have it. It can't be purchased. It can't be purchased. One could be very scholarly. Aham vedmi shukho vetti vyasa vetti na vetti va bhaktya bhagavatam grahyam na buddhya na chatikaya. Nayam atma pravachanena labhya na medhaya na bahuna shrutena. One could have a PhD in Sanskrit, but will not understand anything about Śrīmad Bhagavatam. One could be very rich, may not understand Śrīmad Bhagavatam. May be very erudite, scholarly and articulate. He can articulate as a speaker, very gifted. Maybe a singer who can sing the verses of Śrīmad Bhagavatam but will not understand anything. He may be successful in licking the bottle of honey from outside. But what about actually drinking that nectar? That is possible only in the association of sadhus who actually have it. Only a bee who sucks the nectar, honey from the middle whorl of the lotus flower, only that bee can form a honeycomb. And only from there can honey go to other places. So a sadhu is like that. Gadadhar Pandit said, don't worry. Sadhus are always on the planet. Rupa and Sanatan Goswami are still on the planet. Kalena Vrindavan Akeli Bhartam Lupte Titam Khyapayitum Vishesha Kripamritena Abhishishesha Deva Tatraiva Rupam Cha Sanatanam Cha. It is described Mahaprabhu gave vision to the world, but vision is given through the eyes. And the two eyes are Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. Srinivasa Acharya's father says, go to Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu says, go to Gadadhar Pandit. Now Gadadhar Pandit is saying, go to Rupa and Sanatan. Srinivasa Acharya, with the attempt to study Śrīmad Bhagavatam, rushes to Rupa and Sanatan Goswami in Vrindavan. Now he has to go from Jagannath Puri to Vrindavan. You can imagine the distance. No trains, no planes. It's not that you can go from Bhubaneswar to Delhi and then take a taxi or something. Nothing. You have to walk thousands of kilometers. Srinivasa Acharya walks from Jagannath Puri all the way to Vrindavan. And as he enters Vrindavan, devotees are crying and weeping, on their knees rolling, that the two eyes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the founders of the preaching mission in Vrindavan, Rupa and Sanatan, have left this world. Can you imagine? Srinivasa Acharya walks from his hometown to Jagannath Puri. Mahaprabhu leaves. Mahaprabhu sends him to Gadadhar Pandit. Gadadhar Pandit sends him home. Then he walks all the way to Jagannath Puri, only to get the dream, go to Vrindavan. And he walks all the way to Vrindavan to find Rupa and Sanatan have departed. Srinivasa Acharya becomes so intense in his hankering. Dear devotees, Krishna bhakti rasa bhavita mati hiyatam yadi kutopi labhyate tatra laulyam api mulyam ekalam koti janma sukritir na labhyate. The price to get Krishna is greed. Now if you come out of a temple and there are 3 beggars, whom will you give the alms to? The one who cries louder. So we need 3 things. 3 things. 1, begging bowl. That is our sadhana. If you don't chant Hare Krishna, we are not promising Krishna enough. In the sense, what is the patra where Krishna will put his arms? If you just say, de do kuch, kahan de? Yahan rakh do. Aisa to koi kahega nahi. No beggar will say that. He will put his pot out. He must have a begging bowl. So if someone says, Krishna, please shower your mercy, Krishna will say, where should I put it? The power is our sadhana. If somebody is chanting Krishna's names, reading Śrīmad Bhagavatam, serving the Vaishnavas, oh, that is the patrata. Patrata means eligibility, but patrata in Sanskrit also means that person who has a patra. Begging bowl. That's the first thing we need. Second thing we need, going to the rich man. Now if you go and beg to another beggar, what will I give you? You can't give me, I can't give you. But if you go to a rich man, then yes. So the choice of who to go. So we don't go to anyone except Krishna. Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Ridhyana Gamyam Vande Vishnum Bhavabhayaharam Sarva Loka Ekanatham. Sarva Loka Ekanatham. See, point proven. He is Lakshmi Kantam. So point number 1, having a begging bowl, that is our sadhana. Point number 2, going to the rich man, who is Krishna. And third, crying out in a begging mood of humility and greed that I really wanted. Srinivas Acharya had all three. He was walking back and forth. That was his intense sadhana. That was his begging bowl. He wanted Śrīmad Bhagavatam, who is the richest man. And third, he had the greed of a beggar. He was crying out. Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami came in his dream and said, Mahaprabhu departed, gave you Gadadhar Pandit, he departed, gave you us, but we have departed, don't worry. Sadhus are always on the planet. Srila Jiva Goswami is on the planet. Srila Jiva Goswami is there at Radha Govinda temple. You go to him and he will give you shelter. Srinivas Acharya is praying and begging that may Jiva Goswami have a long life. Why? Jivo Jivasya Jivanam. Bhagavatam says, Jivo Jivasya Jivanam. Life of one life is another life. This is called as the survival of the fittest. Bhagavatam says, Jivo Jivasya Jivanam. But in this context, Srinivas Acharya is a Jiva and Jiva Goswami is his Jivanam. Jivanam also means water for someone in the desert. Yamuna Jivana Keli Parayana. There the word Jivana means water. So anyway, Srinivas Acharya was like a thirsty man looking for the water of Jiva Goswami's shelter. Or you can say he was lifeless, waiting for the life of Jiva Goswami's association. Srinivas Acharya goes running into Radha Govinda temple, crying out, Jive Daya, Jive Daya, Jive Daya, which means shower mercy on this Jiva. Or, oh Jiva, please shower mercy on me. Jiva Goswami walks into the temple, accepts and embraces Srinivas Acharya, and lovingly teaches him Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Srila Jiva Goswami composed Shat Sandarbhas, the 6 Sandarbhas on the basis of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. How many of us have heard of the Shat Sandarbhas? There are 6 books. Tattva Sandarbha, Paramatma Sandarbha, Bhagavat Sandarbha, Krishna Sandarbha, Bhakti Sandarbha, Priti Sandarbha. 6 books. And together they are called Shat Sandarbhas. Srila Jiva Goswami explained Śrīmad Bhagavatam through these 6 Sandarbhas. Like Śrīmad Bhagavatam has stories in different cantos. But Srila Jiva Goswami categorically put them. Jiva Tattva, Bhagavat Tattva, Nam Tattva, Dham Tattva, Vaishnav Tattva, Prem Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, Rasa Tattva, Priti Tattva, Leela Tattva. All these different truths with references from Śrīmad Bhagavatam. And therefore it is said, please everyone chant, Shat Sandarbha Yena Nadhita. Na adhita means somebody who has not studied Shat Sandarbha. Tasya Bhagavate Shramaha. Shat Sandarbha Yena Chadhita. Now those who have read Shat Sandarbhas, Nasti Bhagavate Brahmaha. which means somebody who has studied Jiva Goswami Shat Sandarbhas, they don't get confused while studying Śrīmad Bhagavatam. And somebody who hasn't, tasya bhagavate shramaha, they are reading and taking notes, but still the jigsaw puzzle is not clear. The pieces are coming together, but not in the right context. Dear devotees, Jiva Goswami gave his whole life for Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Rupa Goswami gave his whole life for Śrīmad Bhagavatam and wrote a Laghu Bhagavatamrita. Srila Sanatan Goswami gave his life for Śrīmad Bhagavatam and wrote a Brihad Bhagavatamritam. Dear devotees, Sanatan Goswami cried out to Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Please everyone chant. Sanatan Goswami Pad said, Madaika Bandho, Mat Sangin. Oh, Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Madaika Bandho. You are my only friend. You are my only companion. Sanatan Goswami would go on parikrama. Brajmandal parikrama, Vrindavan parikrama, Govardhan parikrama. And it's very difficult to carry so many books with you when you're doing parikrama. So Srila Sanatan Goswami would pray to Śrīmad Bhagavatam. What would he pray? He would say, Oh Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Premna Rit Kantayos Puraha. Oh Śrīmad Bhagavatam, I may not be able to carry you, but you please kindly stay in my heart. He is not saying stay on my tongue. To be a scholar and memorize verses is very easy. To say, tell me this verse, tell me that verse, what comes after this, what comes after that. It's possible after all of this, all that we are pumping in is our false ego. Like a balloon. And then what comes? Some Vaishnava, senior Vaishnava will come, or Krishna will come with a little pin and Dinera adhika daya kare Bhagavan, Pandita kulina dhani bada abhiman. I was born in an aristocratic Gaud Saraswat Brahman family. Or I was born in the family of multi-millionaires. Or I am very beautiful and handsome. Or I am very scholarly. It's possible because of all of this, only pride gets inflated. But those who are humble and meek, Krishna descends only in their heart. So Sanatan Goswami doesn't pray to Śrīmad Bhagavatam, may you live on my tongue. He says, may you live in my heart. And as a result, come out of my chanting. Ati nicho chataraka. Please everyone chant. Ha! Na muncha. Kadachin mam. Premna. Ritkantayos puraha. Oh Śrīmad Bhagavatam, ha na muncha kadachin mam. Please don't leave me. Even when I leave you at home, oh Śrīmad Bhagavatam, you don't leave me. Sanatan Goswami says. When I go for parikrama, may you live in my heart. And when I am walking around Vrindavan, may verses of Śrīmad Bhagavatam come out of my tongue. Dear devotees, our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu loved Śrīmad Bhagavatam so much that whenever he would see a rock, any rock, not Govardhan, but any rock, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would sing, Hantaya madrirabala haridasa varyo yadrama krishna charana sparasha pramoda manam tanoti sahago ganayostayoryat pani yasuya vasakandara kandamulai. Mahaprabhu would see any stone and he would cry remembering Giriraj Govardhan. He would see a small tributary of water and he would start remembering Yamuna. And he would chant Chidananda Bhano Sadananda Sono Paraprema Patri Drava Brahmagatri Aganam Lavitri Jagat Kshema Dhatri Pavitri Kriyamno Vapur Mitra Putri. O Yamuna, Nadyas Tadata Dupadharya Mukunda Geetam Avarta Lakshita Mano Bhava Bhagna Vegaha Alinganam Sthagita Murmi Bujair Murare Grinhanti Pada Yugalam Kamalopahara. What is chanted on the banks of Jamuna? Mahaprabhu would chant on the banks of any water tributary. He would see a deer and Mahaprabhu would start Dhanyasma Muda Gatayopi Harinya Eta Ya Nanda Nandan Upata Vichitra Vesham Akaranya Venu Ranitam Saha Krishna Sara Pujam Dadhur Virajitam Pranayavalokai. Mahaprabhu would say, all glories to this deer which is golden like Radha and has black spots as Krishna. Mahaprabhu would say, how dear is this deer to me? That he is completely mesmerized by the flute sound of my deer, Shyam Sundar. When the hunter has to catch the deer, he plays the flute, even today, and the deer gets mesmerized. When Mahaprabhu would see any deer anywhere, he would say, wait a minute, this deer seems mesmerized. He must have heard Krishna's flute, which means Krishna is somewhere close. Mahaprabhu would see this world, not like how we see this world. He would see this world through the pages of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Dear devotees, this is not an over-exaggeration. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is our life. It is our life. Therefore, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is called Grantharaj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Vyasadeva himself got satisfied after compiling Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. He compiled so many other books. But then, he was not satisfied. But after compiling Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, I am so satisfied. Swamin kritarthosmi varam nayache. What Dhruva Maharaj felt when looking at the Lord, what Prahlad Maharaj felt when the stamba was broken. Hiranyakashipu knew every part of his house. In America, there is a concept, DIY. Do it yourself. If you have an apartment, then you have a, water leak, you have some problem, you can just call, they will fix it. But if you own a house, then you do it yourself. You have to do everything by yourself. There is absolutely point that we are trying to make through this example. Dear devotees, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam teaches us how to live in this world, teaches us how to leave this world, both. This is the pleasure of studying Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. This is the essence of everything. Vyasadeva compiled so many books, but he was not satisfied. Dhruva Maharaj did so many things, but he was not satisfied. Prahlad Maharaj did so many things, but only when it came to bhakti, he was completely satisfied. I'm talking about previous lives. Now, in this context, Prahlad Maharaj is asked by his father, who followed the do-it-yourself principle, Hiranyakashipu. He fixed every pillar in his house. He knew what is there, where, how, why, when, because he did it with his own men. So when Prahlad Maharaj said, God is everywhere, Hiranyakashipu chuckled. How about this pillar? Prahlad Maharaj looked at the pillar and he saw the Supreme Lord Narsinghadev inside warming up. Prahlad Maharaj looked in the pillar and there is Narsinghadev looking. And Prahlad Maharaj looks. He gets a thumbs up from his master. Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad Maharaj, tell me, you're calling out to the name of my enemy. Is your Vishnu present in this thamba? My dear father, he is present. कैसा मूर्ख बच्चा है. इस स्तंभ में भगवान पूरे ब्रह्मांड के स्वामी, the Lord of the whole creation, Vishnu, is living in this pillar. You think I'm a fool? Prahlad Maharaj said, why don't you try and check? Hiranyakashipu slammed the pillar. Satyam vidhatum nijabhritya bhashitam vyaptim cha bhuteshu akhileshu chatmana adrishya tatyat ati rupamudvahan stambhe sabhayam na mrigam na manusham. The Lord could have appeared from anywhere. He who can come from the mind of Vasudev, he who can come from the womb of Yashoda, he who can come from the nostril of Brahma as Varaha, this time decided to make his parents as a pillar in the courtroom of Hiranyakashipu. And when the Lord appeared, he didn't come to kill Hiranyakashipu. Just because my devotee, he pointed here, Satyam vidhatum nija bhritya bhashitam. What my devotee has said will never go false. Just to prove this, the Lord came from there. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat shantim nigacchati kaunteya pratijanihi. Krishna could have said, Name bhakta pranashyati. But then people will say, Tu wohi lala hai, pehle chori karta hai, phir bolta hai, maine chori nahi ki. Krishna, you are the same person in your childhood. You would steal butter and then say, मैं नहीं माखन खायो. So who will believe you if you say Name Bhakta Pranashyati, my devotee never perishes? Therefore Krishna says, I will not announce. Hey Kaunteya, hey Arjun, Kaunteya Pratijanihi. You announce that the words of Krishna's devotee never goes false, because Krishna can break his vow, but he will never break the vow of his devotee. So in this way, dear devotees, all these pastimes are completely nourishing the pages of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Studying Vyasadev's Śrīmad Bhagavatam spoken from the lips of Shukdev Goswami has nourished the lives of countless Vaishnavas. And we are so fortunate, coming in the same line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srinivas Acharya, Gadadhar Pandit, Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, and our beloved Prabhupada. We have the fortune. We don't have to go home and find a Brahmana, find a manuscript, find organic ink and pen and palm leaves and write it. All that you have to do is, anybody who doesn't have a Śrīmad Bhagavatam, you just have to put your hand up and a whole Śrīmad Bhagavatam installation will take place in your house. Vaishnavas will come with a whole set. But the purpose of our lives is charity begins at home. That Grantha which satisfied Vyasadeva will satisfy us. So today, on this very beautiful beginning of the first day of the Saptaha, we want to bring our attention to the importance of the Grantha, importance of all the Vaishnava Acharyas who have contributed in giving this Grantha to us. Dear devotees, imagine if we just start with Kuntī Stuti directly. We will go, yes, as a curriculum from verse to verse. But then it's important with a devotional heart of gratitude to receive the text first. Where is Kuntī Stuti found? What Grantha is this? Srila Sridhar Swami commented, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti commented, Srila Sanatan Goswami commented, Srila Jiva Goswami commented, Sripad Mahaprabhu Vallabhacharya commented. So many great Vaishnavas commented on this text. They have given their life commenting. Srila Prabhupada translated all of them, and in the purport to the first verse of the Śrīmad Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter, Prabhupada says, serious students of Śrīmad Bhagavatam should study Śrīmad Bhagavatam with the commentaries of all these acharyas. Srila Prabhupada has given them to us. At the same time, His Holiness Bhanu Swami Maharaj has translated such amazing commentaries of these Vaishnava acharyas. So it is our duty, dear devotees, the take-home lesson on day one, just to recap. Gratitude to all the Vaishnava acharyas, starting with Srila Prabhupada up to Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. The prioritization to Śrīmad Bhagavatam, the greed that they had, whether it is Mahaprabhu studying 3 hours a day, whether it is Srila Prabhupada sacrificing the night's sleep, whether it's Srinivas Acharya walking thousands of kilometers. Point number 3, Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam. Each one, teach one. We should study Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Tat Shrunvan, Supathan, Vicharana Paro, Bhaktya Vimuchen Naraha. Purpose of our life is to hear Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Tat Shrunvan, Supathan, to read Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Vicharana Paro, to contemplate how I can make lifestyle changes on the basis of Śrīmad Bhagavatam, and then share this to the whole world. Become a devotee, infused by the power of Śrīmad Bhagavatam, and share this nectar, the sweetness of Krishna consciousness with everyone that we meet. Jare dekhe tare kaho Krishna upadesh, amar agya guru hayya tara eidesh. Grantraj Śrīmad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanande!